Do you feel like you have to respond to everything somebody sends you? Well, here's a pro tip. You don't. There's often times where not only don't you have to, but you shouldn't. So listen in while I'll explain to you some of the situations that don't necessarily need a response from you. Who am I? I'm Nancy Quinn, business coach and body language trainer to interior designers and other creative entrepreneurs. I've helped thousands of business owners create the business of their dreams, profitable, less clients, more money, understanding their systems and their pricing. And that's what I want to help you do. So listen in while I go over this really important tip that I teach almost all my clients. As an interior designer, you probably get a ton of messages from your clients constantly. Some of them are just brain dumps. Some of them are just a thought that popped into their head. And because you're available and haven't set your boundaries, they're just going to keep sending them. Remember, you do not have to answer everything. What happens when we answer everything? We teach somebody that we are overly responsive. And if, as an interior designer, that is not your role that you want to play, that you're available for every brain dump, for every thought, we need to set that straight. So before I get started, hit the subscribe and the notification bell so that you will get notified of future videos. And now let's kind of dive in. Why do we feel like we have to respond to everything? Some of us are used to overreacting. How does that happen? Sometimes life has just made us really on edge and stressed, and we just feel like we have to respond to everything. The second thing that most interior designers have is this people-pleasing tendency. It's really what your whole life is about at times. And then there's that stress response. Well, if I don't respond, it's going to get worse, so I have to respond to this. But guess what? There are tricks and things you can notice about the communication that can make you not have to respond. So I don't want to overcomplicate this, and I don't want to cause you unnecessary stress. I'm looking to reduce your stress by thinking and learning how to read a message with discretion and ask yourself, do I really need to answer this? So this originally came to my attention as a topic for this YouTube video because somebody in my Facebook group, the Interior Design Business Forum, posted a very long message about how they had given away a free consult to a raffle for the school, for their child's school. And they did the free consult, and the person hired them for after the consult, but decided that they wanted to let the designer know that they were not too thrilled with the lack of the deliverable after the consult, even though the interior designer was very clear as to what the free consult was. And even though they were moving forward, they just wanted the designer to know that they were slightly disappointed and wanted to know from the people in my group what they should do about this. And everyone was weighing in saying, well, you should say that, and you should say this. You should say, well, I gave you of my intellectual property. I gave you great tips that are going to save you from making mistakes in the future, which would normally be my response. But when I reread what the client wrote to this designer, there was no question. The client did not ask a question. She basically said, I'm a little disappointed because of the following things. However, I can't wait to move forward with you, and I'll see you next week. And the designer wanted to respond. And I read it, thought about it, reread it, and thought, don't make assumptions that she is going to be unhappy with the future services just because she is relaying her disappointment in her free gift that she won at an event for a PTA. She was basically just brain dumping. So my advice to that designer was, there's no reason to respond to her unhappiness about the consult. She basically, by the end of her message, let it go. She said, so I just wanted to let you know, but I look forward to meeting you next week and moving forward. So all I said to the designer was to say, I'll see you next week. Looking forward to working with you too. There was no reason to go back and address this woman's brain dump. So number one, don't make assumptions based on their brain dump that they really don't like you and that they're not going to move forward. Sometimes they just want to tell you their opinion. And this woman happened to be a lawyer, and she's a very good communicator, and she just decided to give her opinion. Okay, she's allowed to have her opinion. So number one, don't make assumptions, okay? Number two, if they're not asking you a question and they're just relaying information that's on their mind, you don't always have to respond. You don't have to pick apart what they're saying, interpret and make assumptions of what they mean, and try to make it right. She ended with, I'll see you next time. So be careful not to overreact, not to make assumptions, and review what they're writing and really think to yourself, do I have to respond to this? Or were they just having a moment? We all have our moments, don't we? So if they did not ask a question, you can either just give it a check mark, give it a thumbs up, give it a heart, or say, I hear you and I look forward to seeing you next week as well. Make it simple. Make it simple. We love to complicate our lives. So I want you to watch my other videos where I teach you how to decompress and assess the situation, all in my book, Respond with Confidence, right there. But the other thing I'm making available to you underneath this video is a PDF that I call Don't Say That, Say This. It's quick little word replacements for things that we often don't do well, and I want you, or don't communicate well. It's a quick reference guide. Grab it, and it will help you when you're responding to these difficult situations, not to say things that will make the situation worse, but how to say things that will actually calm the situation down. So grab the guide, Don't Say That, Say This, and I hope this was helpful today. I often have these types of questions in my business helpline, which is for all of my clients, my one-on-one and my Profit Insiders for Interior Designers group program. They have access to me to ask me questions. My client said this, what do I say back? And it's something that over time, I teach them how to respond with confidence. And that's what I want to do for you. If you are interested in learning more about my group program, Profit Insiders for Interior Designers, please click the link below. It'll give you all the details and you can fill out an application. After you fill out an application, it'll take you to my calendar for a free 20-minute application review call. I hope to see you there. Don't struggle anymore. It's time to make sure you're running a profitable interior design business once and for all. And that's what I'm here to help you do.